we are here today with Liz Vartanian, Ms. YogaBetty, at South by Southwest in Austin, and we're going to do a quick little interview on Liz's life as a yogini. So, Liz, thank you for sitting down with us today.
Thank you.
And would love to know how you first got introduced to yoga.
Actually, I got introduced to yoga through massage therapy. I went to massage school right out of high school, and the first few classes with doing massage, they have you open your body and stretch and breathe and move, and that was pretty much my first experience. And shortly after doing my massage therapy training, I started doing regular yoga classes. And so it's been about 13 years.
Wow, that's impressive.
Of yoga, so.
Nice.
Yeah.
And where do you teach yoga?
I currently teach out of my home, and I do some corporate yoga. So I have a steady home client base full of one-on-ones and then small groups, and then I teach at a couple different gaming companies here around Austin.
And what's your style of yoga?
I usually do a general flow, more of a vinyasa or a hatha flow, all the way down to restorative. It kind of depends on the student, kind of where they're at, but usually I like a quick one breath, one movement kind of style of teaching.
Interesting. And you mentioned that you've never taught at a studio before.
I have not. It is quite an honor to say that I've never taught at a studio class. No, I like having to be able to do my own schedule and being able to teach when I want to teach. Also, when my students have the availability and when they can come, that is quite a nice flexibility for them and for me.
And how do you go about getting your students or your clients?
Pretty much I use my friendly demeanor, and just through talk and through meeting, I have met a lot of people through my local coffee shop, and I'm constant grocery shopping and being out and about in the town. Events like South by Southwest or musical events, you meet and you talk to people, and that inevitable question of what do you do for a living, and yoga teacher is always an exciting conversation to have. So that's usually just a matter of being open and being friendly and encouraging people to try yoga.
And what's the one piece of advice that you would give to somebody who's thinking about becoming a teacher?
If you're thinking about becoming a yoga teacher, do it. You won't regret doing the training. It is quite enjoyable. You'll learn a lot about yourself. You'll learn a lot about yoga in general and the practice of yoga, beyond the asana, beyond the movements, beyond the breath. It's quite an amazing journey. And if you want to be a teacher, just do it. Just stop coming up with excuses and just go out and do it. Because I truly feel that if that's what you want to do, you will do it.
Great. Now, you also have a blog.
I do, YogaBetty.com. General kind of information about yoga, a little general information about me, and then I try to post videos on a regular basis, either doing small short sequences or breaking down a pose, doing really easy or modifications, the general standard of the pose, and then some advanced versions. So just kind of trying to educate and bring some information, share a little bit about myself, of course, because you can't help but write and have a little bit of your personality in there. And just a general good place to come and get a little information.
And what do you think is a common misconception today about yoga?
Oh man, in the heat of today, that's a good question, Poornima. I think today probably a misconception is that you have to be able to touch your toes. I think that is a really good misconception out there, that if you can't touch your toes, you can't do yoga. And I would like to say that if you can't breathe, you can't do yoga. If you can't find that breath, if you can't be able to be consciously inhaling and consciously exhaling, you probably should do yoga. That would be the only no yoga for you.
And what's the next step for you, either with your own practice or with YogaBetty?
Well, I'm going to continue to do more yoga trainings. I feel that, knowledge is power, and you can't help but know enough about yoga and do enough of your own yoga, which always makes you a better teacher. And then YogaBetty will just be more videos, longer videos, more information. Just try to keep it as much about yoga as possible. A little less about what's happening in the yoga world and the yoga gossip, more about the teachings and more about why we do yoga and why it is that coming to the mat is important, or how to take your yoga off the mat and kind of out into the world.
Great. Well, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Good luck and hope you enjoy South by.
I hope you do the same.